So we have seen the meaning of industries as well as the different classification on the basis of ownership, on the basis of size, and on the basis of raw material that they use, right? There are totally, first we started with the size of the industry, right? There are mainly two types of industries, large scale industries as well as small scale industries. Then furthermore, the small scale industries are also classified into tiny industries and ancillary industries, right? And that too, it has the main difference between them is the investment, the money that we invest in the fixed assets, in the machinery, or the kind of things that we need to make the industry, or you can say the factory. So being the smallest one is the tiny industry, above that is the ancillary, then the cottage industries, then we have small industries, and the biggest one are called the large scale industries. Clear? These are the main types that we're going to discuss, and we have been doing this from all the respective different sizes up till now, right? Now moving to the next one. Today the topic that we have is challenges of small scale industries, right? Yes. So we have challenges of small scale industries. Now it was your homework yesterday that I have given, that think about the problems a company could face when they start, or probably they have been working from last 4 to 5 years. Being a small scale industry, they have been already established, right? They are known to the people around them, not the MNC or not the large industries, but they are known to people around them, right? In the local market, they are already established. They have a name, they have a brand, they have a goodwill that can be cashed out in the products, right? Now, what kind of problems could be seen in them? Can you tell anyone? Any idea? Probably the changing trends that you call it, right? Because sustainable development being the most important factor here, that if you do not change the time, yeah, the market will throw you out automatically. Competition, rivalry, consumer taste and preferences, changing trends, yes. Sorry, inflation, right? Then government policies, right? And then changing the prices of the cost of production, raw material, changing the price of raw material, taxation, right? What else? Zones, the kind of policy. Yeah, right, great. Okay, I could also see technology advancement, right? So kind of things that we could take example of typewriters, right? Earlier there is an era of typewriters. Everything was used to be on the typewriters, but now the change of time, change of the trends, we came on the PCs, or you can say the computers that we call it, right? So the people who used to do the work on typewriters, if they do not wish to learn the computers, they might lose the job, or they already lost the job, because they need to advance their knowledges, they need to advance their skills also, because typewriter is a different thing that is being to be done in manual style, and computers are to be done on a digital style, right? So being the main difference of technology, if you are not adapt to the technology will not help you to grow. Even if you're working in a specific role or specific position, you need to upgrade the things, you need to upgrade the knowledge, you need to upgrade the skills, you need to upgrade the working style as well. Otherwise you won't sustain for a longer period of time, right? And change is the mandatory requirement as and when you do the things. Culture shift, right? Then probably the change of the system of import export, if you are doing in the global markets, right? Change of the foreign companies policies. If I'm exporting something to a different country, if my country is supportive for my business, but the other country where I'm doing the trading, if their policies also change, might need to close down my business, right? Employees. Now you forgot the main reason. Losses, right? If there is no sales, there is decrease in the sales pattern, that is the main reason. If we are not earning profit out of what we do, it is just not acceptable. Break-even point. We could not talk about break-even point, because already we have been seen that they have already reached, they have above the BEP now. So this could be the number of problems that the small scale industries probably could face as and when the change of the market, change of the marketing style, change of the government policies, changing of the trends, change of customer taste and preferences, change in the government policies. So you can count on and on, right? So there could not be any specific reason. For example, what could be the reason of shutting down of a textile industry? Rather than this, above of all what we have discussed, what could be the other reason of closing down on textile industry? What is it? Textile cloth industry, right? Shortage of raw material in today's era. For example, currently we are in the middle of a pandemic, right? And we need raw material that could be coming from other parts of the world, or probably other parts of the states or around us. So if the raw material is not reaching us, how would we produce?
Ban on certain materials.
Ban on certain materials, unavailability of the certain materials, right? Unavailability of the employees that we want.
Lack of demand of that material.
Or you could say the kind of factories that working on a manual basis, but people are not allowed to move out. There was a lockdown in the country, right? So all the industries were shut down compulsorily, mandatorily by the government because of lockdown. So there was no business, no production, no sales for 3 months, other than the groceries, right? That was the only business that was running and flourishing here and there. That is a medical kind of thing, right? I'm talking about the main basic market that we call about, right? So these are the things that could affect any your business while making it in a good way, but still, even an inch of any of these problems could ruin your business, right? And it is not ruined in a day or two. It is ruined gradually, slowly and steadily. It will turn around the business, and in a way, it might shut down also, right? So the main topic is challenges for small scale industries. What problems, what challenges a company that is being operated on a small scale could face in today's market trends, right? So small scale industries do not enjoy much of the advantages enjoyed by large scale enterprises because of their nature and size. Obviously, shortage of money could also be the reason, because of the size, because of the kind of things they do. Though they have made significant contribution to economic development, they have not realized their full potential. Any person doing individual business could not reach out to 100% profit, because a single person could not carry out all the activities all alone, right? You need people, you need resources, you need things that would turn out to be in a certain extent in a greater world, right? They do not realize their full potential. They face many problems in their functioning, and many small scale industries are sick. Sick means what? They are turned out to be in the losses, right? So the government had reserved certain items for exclusive production by small scale industry. So being the measure to revive them, the government has a policy that certain kind of goods are only being produced by small scale industry. For example, government has a policy that there are only three sectors that are being held by the government. That is, which things are being owned by the government of India? Only three businesses.
Railway, army, and
atomic energy, right? There are three businesses that are being held by the government of India. That is railways, arms and ammunition, or you can say defense services, and the atomic energy, right? But now also being railway into the losses, government is thinking to give it to the private sector. And Adani, Reliance, Tata is in the race to beat the game, right? And probably Tata is on our way to get the deal, right? So large scale enterprises were not allowed to produce the items which were reserved for SSI sector. That means what? Certain goods are fixed that could be only be produced by SSI, small scale industries. So with the opening of the economy and the following the principles of liberalization and globalizations, many items have been successively de-reserved. De-reserved means what? It could be given to private sector, or it could be also held by the government of India. Therefore, small scale industries have to now counter the twin forces of competition from Indian large scale enterprises as well as foreign competitors, because India is a global market, right? And being in the part of progress, we also invite different countries to participate in our progress. Is it or not? We have collaborations, we have acquisitions, we have mergers. For example, Tata acquired Jaguar. Why? To remove the competition. As simple as that. Right? So that does not mean that we will have a problem in the economy. But definitely a small scale industry will be having a sort of problem which could in a long term could be a problematic for a longer period of time. Right?
Ma'am, Volkswagen તો giant company થઈ કે નહીં?
Obviously joint.
કારણ કે,
But see, for
Lamborghini-
example, we have food joints in India, which are MNCs as well as the local, not the local one, the nationalized one. For example, Subway, Pizza Hut, Domino's, McDonald's, all of them are non-Indians. But still they have the business in India, right? Why so? Because we want India to grow on any cost. On any cost, that so much of that the small traders are being hammered out. Right? Why small joints? For example, CCD, Cafe Coffee Day, had a competition with Starbucks, which failed very badly. And the CEO of CCD did suicide. Because same as simple as that, they could not bear the kind of risk that they need to have in the race of being competitive towards Starbucks. Right? And that is why being an Indian firm, that does not mean that you need to be ready for whatever it may come. But yes, in today's world, in today's economy of India, government do invite different countries, different business partners to come to India in the form of FDI, that is foreign direct investment. So in the other case, it could be the revenue generation for the government. But on the contrary, it is also a competition for the local traders. For example, Grofers. For example, V-Mart. For example, Walmart, Big Basket. All of them are the competition to D-Mart, Reliance Fresh, Big Bazaar, JioMart. You name them. You have a number of the people that do the things, right? So you're also attracting foreign competition too. That does not mean that your country will only grow. It also may have disadvantages too on the other side. Every coin has two sides. Other part is also the disadvantages. Next we have number one problem is finance. As we discussed that finance is the blood of the business. So finance is one of the most important problem confronting small scale industries. Finance is the lifeblood of an organization, and no organization can function properly in the absence of adequate funds. If I'm running out of the even working capital, I need to think, what will I do tomorrow? Right? What is the working capital or the liquid capital?
It comes in the business to the use in
day-to-day basis, right? So basically, to meet the daily expenses, we need them, and to have the fulfillment of the daily requirements of the business, right? That we call it as liquid money or the working capital. So if we need to think about working capital, think about the capital expenses. What is capital expenses? That we do for a larger term of money. For example, purchase of machinery, purchase of factory, purchase of land, purchase of bulk production, bulk raw material, right? So if I'm running out of the funds for the working capital, how would I think for the capital investment? Obviously not, right? So the main problem is the financier. The scarcity of capital and inadequate availability of the credit facilities are the major causes of this problem. I am running out of the funds. I ask people to lend me money, but even they are not ready to give me. What could be the reason? My business is already sinking out, or you can say sinking in towards the debt, right? I'm running out of the funds. I have no money. I need someone to help me out. And when I go into the market, I ask bank, I ask my neighbors, I ask my competitors, not the competitors, my friends who are in the same business, but they are not ready to give me money. Reason could be, what could be the reason? Probably they see me sinking in, right? Because they think that I'm already drawn out. Probably I might be the one who will soon say a bye-bye to the market. Because obviously I'm running into the losses. And if I want money, it might happen that I also become debtful to their money also. Obviously, I do not have money, so I need to also, they will also think, now how this man will repay me the money. Is it or not? It depends on my creditability. So the first picture that comes into the part is the creditability. If people know my face, they will lend me money easily. But they do not believe me, they do not trust on me. There are very less chances they will lend me the money. How bank issues a loan?
By keeping guarantees.
By keeping guarantees. And when I have nothing to borrow, nothing to mortgage, what will I do?
They will keep us as security.
So I need to mortgage my personal assets there, my house, my car, my property, whatever I have. In case of Vijay Mallya, right? You know Vijay Mallya? You know who is Vijay Mallya is?
He's the
Owner of Kingfisher Airlines.
Kingfisher companies, and he has done the scam of 9,000 crores of SBI, State Bank of India, and he flew away to some place, and on him, our Prime Minister has issued the red corner notice. Do you know what is the red corner notice?
The country is not allowed to fetch that person in the lieu of arresting them, right?
In Dubai, yeah.
So to arrest them in the lieu of, they will not be able to get him back on his own. So the country which is living currently, they will issue the notice to the country that throw him out of the country so that we can fetch him. That is a red notice for the people that are being red listed by the government of India, right? So being in the scam, now all of his property, all of his personal assets are on the sale because bank need their money, right? Bank is no one's relative. For example, bank right? So they need money, their money back. So they will sell whatever property there is available in the name of Vijay Mallya. Even their cars, even their personal properties, their bungalow, everything is on sale. Still, to the case, it is not recoverable because whatever money, it is 9,000 crores. Just count the zeros. It's not a small amount, right? Right? So in that case, the finance plays a very important role because he was into the losses. That is why he asked the bank to give him the money. But again, it turned out to be a scam. So bank will not rely on you, not rely on the guarantee that you provide. It will need something that is as a security. So you mortgage something in exchange of the money that they lend to you. So that is why even to get the money, you need something in exchange to provide.
Amount level justificable હતી કારણ કે બેંકે એને ડ્રાફ્ટ પ્રોવાઇડ કરે છે એને થોડું કેશ માં લીધું છે.
So if we could say, if we could relate the same thing to Harshad Mehta was not a scammer. He played the things now. He found out the loop in the system. So where is his fault? His intelligence or the problem in the government system? But government won't take it. Right? So that is the thing that the money plays the important part. So firstly, adequate funds are not available. And secondly, entrepreneurs due to weak economic base have lower credit worthiness, right? So bank will automatically not lend you the money because you are no one. They do not know you. You do not have any person who will provide the guarantee for you because you are you are a fresher, you are an entrepreneur that has just entered the market, right? And that is why there is a very less credit worthiness of your financial capacity. So neither they are having their own resources, nor are others prepared to lend them. No one is ready to give me the money. So entrepreneurs are forced to borrow money from money lenders at exorbitant means very high rate of interest, and this upsets all their calculations. For example, what is the current rate of the personal loan right now? If you go to any private bank, 7%. 7%. Are you sure 7%? Yes.
No.
Anyone online? Personal loan.
9%.
Yes. Divya, Devansh, Lisa.
Has given the CS foundation exam.
I did it. Okay. Yes, Devansh. So tell me, what is the current rate of the personal loan? Yes, Apurva, Akansha, Netik. Tell me, no. Current rates.
HDFC 10.75%.
Probably it is between 9 to 12%. Right? When a company, when a bank is lending you personal loan, they will charge almost more than 10%. Right? And that is almost 10% of the money that you will have. SBI 9.60, and what is 15.65%? Yes Bank. They don't want the data. I just wanted a figure. Okay, so that means what? They will charge very high interest because obviously they see you in the need, and if you're in the need, people will take the advantage of your needs, right? So that is why they'll charge more money from you as a part of rate of interest, and that messes up your calculations to have the setup or the balance to have that money back, right? So after nationalization, banks have started financing this sector. That is why we have a bank loan called business loan. They lend you the money for doing a business. Startup loan also is available for the new entrepreneurs in the market. For example, even if I'm a pass out of this year, and if I plan to do a business, I have a project, I have an idea, and I have all the things that is required. So I'll go to the bank and bank will check my the idea, whether it is workable or not. If it is workable, they will give me the startup loan. It is very cheaper, right? So that is why I would suggest that even if you do not have money, you could ask out the banks to lend you money for the startup at least. So once you have a flourishing business, you probably will have a very good longer way to go. So that is why never depend on your own money. Banks are also there to finance your business, right? So these enterprises are still struggling with the problem of inadequate availability of high cost fund. Nothing is free in this world. Everything comes with the cost, right? And money like lending money or the bank money is obviously never easy or low money rated, right? Probably more than 10%, and more than 10% is very much. For example, you need 1 lakh rupees and you need to pay 10,000 against it. That becomes 1 lakh 10,000. Even without using the money, you need also to pay extra 10,000 that you're using it without the use. That means what? You are charging those 10,000 rupees on a non-used money. Understood? That means automatically it becomes expensive to be a kind of thing that we need to have before doing something, right? So these enterprises are promoting various social objectives, and in order to facilitate them, working adequate credit on easier terms and conditions must be provided to them. Who will do it? The banks. And how the banks will do it? With the rule of the government, with the help of RBI. RBI is Reserve Bank of India, the father of all the Indian banks, right? The private or the public, all the banks come under the working schedule of the Reserve Bank of India. Okay. Next we have is the raw material. As we said earlier, that raw material, shortage of raw material, non-availability of the raw material. Okay. So for example, if I have taken a loan and whatever business I do, it turned out to be a loss. So what will I do? Instead, I have taken the money on loan, I am doing the business, and it also turned out to be a loss. What will be the condition then? That is not an option for an entrepreneur who just started the business. They are more enthusiastic, they are more motivated. Bank will give you another loan. You have nothing, you have already mortgaged whatever you had. So, anyone? That remains the only day, and then we'll go to the private lenders, right? So private lenders obviously know our needs, know our faces, that we have been into losses more than once. So they will charge us 15 to 20% of the interest rate, right? And that is a worst condition when you go to a private lender. Never opt for private.
Always charge
money more than the banks, right? And they will not ask you for the mortgage because they already know that you have nothing to lose, nothing to lose, and you have nothing to mortgage. That is why they'll charge 15 to 20% of the exorbitant interest rates, right? So coming to this point that we have been discussing, that is raw material, shortage of raw material, inadequate raw material, non-availability of the raw material, increase in the price of raw material, decrease in the price of raw material, increase in the price of cost of production, right? Packaging of the goods, all of things belongs to the raw material challenge. So small scale industries normally tap local resources for meeting raw material requirements. So normally we have a small scale industry that occupies the raw material from the local areas around them, right? So these units have to face numerous problems like availability of inadequate quantity, poor quality, and even supply of raw material is not on a regular basis. If we are running a factory on a small scale industry, we need regularly the supply of raw material. But if there is irregularity in the raw material, the production process will be disturbed. And we could not do so every day. One day we do the production and then we sit idly for 3 days and then wait for the raw material to come in and then we start the production. So it's a very, very tiring process and it's also a costly one. Because see, one time what could happen, I'll tell you a case study here. You know Tata company, right? Tata is into the main business of automobiles, right? Tata Jaguar. We have taken the example of Jaguar, that they acquired Jaguar. But what happened once, it is almost 5 to 6 years back, the employees went into strike because the company did not give the increment of the employees. I'm talking about a manufacturing unit, but the cars are being produced. It's a process, right? So the factory workers that we call as them laborers went on strike and did not even ask for the negotiations because the company reluctantly said no, that we will not have increments, right? So what being a laborer we could do? We could sit idly, will not work, right? We will stop the production process. What else? Being a laborer, I could not do anything else. I could not do the work. That is my only weapon because I am being in a situation where my company is not having increment for me, right? So the manager here is the main participant here, right? The manager is a person who will deals between the management of the company and the employees. It's a chain between the management and the employees, right? So the manager came into the picture, asked for the negotiations. They were so kind of you can say ridiculed that they even didn't accept the negotiations. They were so angry, they were so hazardous that the person who was there to negotiate, that the manager of Tata Motors Limited, they burned him out. That is the power of employees, or you can say the angry employees. A person who is living person is burned to death just because he asked for negotiations. For what reason? They did not wanted to have negotiation. They wanted direct increments. This is a case study on the behavior of the laborers, which could turn out to be in a very dead-like situations, right? So this is the example. You might have even also Google it out. It is about the Tata Industries, Tata Motors. Then it is a very live incident that happened 5 years back. So yes. I have heard about it, but I actually did not know the name. I just thought about the same situation. I do not remember his name. He was also one of the entrepreneurs in India, and due to this case, he was also made the same happening there. Right? That means what? A situation like this could turn out to be a death for the person who is dealing the situation, right? And here being the main person as the manager of the company, because manager is a key between the management and the employees of the business. Being the employee itself, he could not negotiate, but he could ask for the negotiation on the behalf of the management, right? But being the part of the laborers, they were not ready to do that. They can also apply for guarantee loan. Okay, fine, yes, done. Fine. So this could be a case that could turn out to be a kind of example for the future managers, how to deal the laborers, right? Or the kind of labor behavior that we need to understand first before moving to the situation or having any action against them, right? So we were talking about the raw material, that the non-availability raw material, we need to have them on a regular basis. Otherwise, the production process will stop. And it could stop because of the raw material, because of the slow process of the raw material, the transportation availability of the raw material, right? So large scale units, because of the more resources, normally corner whatever raw material that is available in the open market. What will do? The large scale industry will purchase all the things in bulk, right? So what is only left out will go to the small scale industry. And there are 2, 3, 4, 5 large scale industries which will capture all the goods or all the resources or the raw materials. So very small units that are being left out for the small scale industries. And the participants of the small scale industries are very large in the number. So less quantity of the raw materials is to be distributed into n number of small scale traders. That is a very troublesome problem for the situation to the process of the manufacturing. So small scale units are thus forced to purchase the same raw material from the open market at very high prices. What is, you know, the rule of demand and supply, right? The more demand, more prices, less demand, no prices, or you can say the less prices. Yeah, that is means what? The law of demand applies here, that whenever there is an increase in the demand of the goods, automatically the price will rise. And when you are in need, you need to pay the money, whatever the situation could be. Even if you are running out of the funds, you need to take a loan, you need to take on the money, credit, and purchase the raw material. That means what? Whatever the case could be, you need to be ready to even pay the higher price of the raw material because you need it. Anyhow, you could not bear the losses of stopping a kind of industry that we work in. So that is why you will be forced to buy that raw materials at a very higher rates of purchase. It will lead to the increase in the cost of production automatically, thereby making their functioning unviable. That means what? If the raw material is costly, automatically the cost price will become increased, and then the selling price also increase because they are not selling for the donation, they are selling for the profits. So if something is made in 10 rupees, it will be costing 15 to 20 rupees because of the raw material. Can you give an example of raw material being into increases the prices, and because of that, the prices also increase of the product? Oil, groundnut, right? Groundnut oil prices changes every day according to the market scenario, right? Same in the case of currency, foreign currency, and that same also applies to petrols, right? You can say the petroleum products, right? Petrol and vehicles, right? Why so? If the increase in the production, increase in the price of the fuel, it will automatically increase the price of the vehicles, right? Grains also, because of the rain. For example, if there are no rains available this year and we have a drought, so what will happen? All the food grains will be at a double rate, will be sold out at a double rate because there is no production. There is half of the agriculture produces has been wasted because of the drought that we had. That means what? Automatically the situation will be getting worse because they will be sold out at the double of the prices. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So basically it happens to the finished products. It will have the more of the cost prices as well as the selling prices, right? So that is why raw material plays also a very important part. Next we have is ideal capacity. People going to the office and not doing the work is also a problem for us, right? If you go to a private company, they are having a working hours of 12 hours a day, 8 to 10 or 10 to 12 hours a day. But you are going to the office, you are sitting there, you are watching your phone, you are playing games, you're roaming around the premises, you are doing nothing. You're sitting in the canteen as we do in the colleges. What we have done in the college, we send into the office, but it don't want to work, right? Because it will hamper the employee cost at the end of the month, because you are paying that employee for coming to the office and for doing the work for you. Then only you can pay. If someone is not working for you, will you be able to pay him? But you have been appointed him as an employee, so it is your responsibility to pay them, even if they are not working. Is it okay? Would you pay so? Why? Because we need production. We need productivity from each of the person that we have hired in the business, right? That is why idle capacity could be also be the one of the challenges for the small scale industry. How? There is underutilization of the installed capacity to the extent of 40 to 50% in the case of small scale industries. People having absentees, roaming around the premises, not doing the work properly, training period, their productivity, their age issues, their psychological health, all could be the different reasons for the idle capacity of the employees. So that automatically hampers the installed capacity of the business, because installed capacity is 100%, but we get the production of only 40 to 45% or 50%. 50% is also very high. So other 50% is just the wastage. It is sitting ideally, and that is why it is costing us on a larger term. Because if we buy the machinery, for example, if I have installed a 1 crore rupee machinery that is working every day, but I take out only 50 lakhs rupees of production from it, so what is the use of that machinery? The other 50 lakh is a wastage for me. I have blocked that money, that is known as idle capacity, right? And even I could not sell the half of the machinery because I am using only half of it. That is why we need to be thinking about the using the full capitalization of the installed capacity. So various causes of the underutilization are shortage of raw material problem associated with the funds and even availability of the power. For example, every Wednesday we have a power cut down, and that is why every factory is off on Wednesdays in India. Probably in Gujarat, if I'm not wrong, right? In Gujarat, whatever factories we have, this already have a holiday, not on Sunday. Normally we have holidays on Sunday, but every factory is shut down or is having a holiday on Wednesday due to the reason of power cut. And you could also see it around when it goes have a power cut very oftenly on Wednesday. So that is why it is a specific day that they do not work for the factory, because it is having a day off because of power cut, right? So it could ideally hamper your funds, because you need to pay the money if you are even not having the production, right? So better to keep a holiday on that day and work instead that of on the Sundays. So that is why factory people have a holiday on Wednesdays and they are working on the Sundays, unlike us, right? So small scale units are not fully equipped to overcome all these problems, as it is the case with the rivals in the large scale sector. That is why it could be hampering to us in the case of raw material, in the case of production, in the case of money or the funds that we have invested into the business. Then again, as we said, technology. Keeping the example of typewriters and computers into the main highlight, it will go around for a longer period of time, because nowadays technology has every day a new version. Same as your phones, your phone apps has every day installed updates on a daily basis. Is it or not? You update your phones on a regular basis. Why so? If you do not update the phone, what will happen? Think about a scenario where you're using the WhatsApp with the smileys only, and you do not have stickers. Your friends are sending you the stickers, but you do not have the stickers because you have not updated. It will be a very shameful condition for us, right? Because we are using the same older phone, or instead I'm using a keypad phone. Think about the situation.
Text message.
Right? So it will be worse if I do not adapt to the technology. The technology will not survive for a longer period of time. And that same happened to the people who denied to learn computers. They loosen their job. Why? Because they were not ready to adapt the technology. They denied the fact that they will not learn. At the age of 40 or 50, your capacity to learn is nothing, is zero, right? At the earlier age, you could not learn the things very easily as compared to the younger generation. And that is why we need people at the age of 40 or 50 to learn computers was a tough job. So half of them left the job by force or by the virtue of the company, that either you learn the computers or leave the job. This is the main problem of technology, right? So small scale entrepreneurs are not fully exposed to the latest technology. They same use the traditional technologies that they were using from last 10-15 years. They continue with the same one for a longer period of time. So moreover, they lack requisite resources to update or modernize their plant and machinery. Still, half of the industries use the manual things, the manual machineries. Every industries have now the automatic machineries, right? But they are costlier. If you, either you invest the funds in the money, in the machinery, or you invest into the more people, right? We have two types of industries: labor intensive and capital intensive. Labor intensive is more of the employees and less of the machinery. Capital intensive is more of the machineries, less of the employees, right? So in this case, the employees will be in the large abundance and the technology will be very less used in the case of small scale industries. So due to the absolute methods of production, they are confronted with the problems of less production and in the inferior quality, and that too at a higher cost. They are in no position to compete with the better equipped rivals operating modern large scale units. Think about a small thelawala sitting on the corner of the road and McDonald's. Can both of them have a competition? Yes or no? A person selling on a stall or a food truck can have competition with the McDonald's. Why? Technology. They have what they call as drive away. No. A LAN. Drive-ins. What they call it as? We have a LAN separately operated for the people who have cars and just take the parcels and move away. They do not go to the main restaurants. Takeaway. Right? So we have takeaways everywhere right now. Right? But if you do not offer takeaway in the era of Swiggy and Zomato, can we survive? A restaurant who is not offering Swiggy, drive-through, right? Drive-through. We cannot compare that, right, Yash? So that is no competition available, and that is why the small-scale industries face a problem.
No, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, I'm telling that in sarcastic way, because nowadays people are not facilitating that the technology is available. They are now interested in the quality of food. So we can say that even McDonald's can, even a food trucks can compete the McDonald's.
But up till some extent, not to the fully extent. For example, if I am having a food truck exactly near to the McDonald's, he said in a sarcastic way that there is no competition available because people nowadays want quality. They prefer quality over the services. Do you think so? Do you think there is a comparison between the quality of products and the services being offered by the company? For example, let me continue the example.
Now, if we see,
yes, go on. Yes, go on, beta.
Yes, ma'am. Nowadays, if we see the people of Rajkot, even compared to the McDonald's, there are more number of people outside the streets. They are loving the street foods also. So, and also we can say that the McDonald's even offering non-veg and veg, even though the kitchens are separate. Not also McDonald's, but so the pure vegetarian people not like to go to the McDonald's. Trust issues.
Right. So now this come in the picture in the picture of the ideology that the people of India have. That depending upon the different ideologies, people who are pure vegetarians do not prefer McDonald's because unlike they say that they have separate kitchens, but I am a pure vegetarian. I will not go to McDonald's because it is against my law, against my ethics. Right? Being the entrepreneur, right? They say that, yeah. For example, if I say, if it might take me a minute or two, if I continue, that if I give examples of McDonald's containing the same part, McDonald's took 10 years to enter Gujarat. Why so? Because most of the Gujarati people are vegetarians, right? All over India, non-veg is being sold out very easily. Himachal Pradesh, Maharashtra, Kerala, or even Manipur or Nagaland. Okay, different parts of India. But to enter Gujarat, McDonald's took 8 years to enter. Why so? The ideology of being the pure vegetarian people, they could not have same kitchen for two foods, that is veg as well as non-veg, could not be cooked in a single kitchen. And that is why, against all the odds, having the market in the mind, because Gujaratis obviously are the foodie people, they thought that to capture that market, we need to change the policy. So for Gujarat, McDonald's changed their policy of having two separate kitchens as non-veg and veg separately. Why so? Because they thought that if we will not capture Gujarat, we'll be in the losses, or we will lose the opportunity to enter Gujarat. So to enter Gujarat, they separated their kitchens, just only Gujarat, and they offered vegetarian also as a separate menu for the Gujarati people. And now you have in Gujarat, all over Gujarat, we have 2 separate kitchens in all the McDonald's present in Gujarat, only Gujarat. So if you see opportunity there, if you have that capacity to change the policies, see McDonald's is almost 100 years plus company, but it changed their policy. That is a very big policy to be changed. It changed its policy for the sake of customers' preferences. Here it comes as we could say, is customer is the king of the market. So to capture that big market of Gujarat, being the biggest in the form of the businessmen, because we have more of the businessmen class here in Gujarat itself. So that is why they separated their kitchens against all the policies and entered Gujarat after 10 long years. That's a big way to go, right? So this could be the case that we could say that ultimately customer is the king of the market. Whatever the big business we are, whatever the small business we are, we need to work according to the customer's need, according to the customization that they want. Is it or not? Right? And that is why customer will always be the king of the market. Irrelevant of the big company, irrelevant of the size of the company, irrelevant whether they are from India or they belong to the foreign countries. We have nothing to do with it. We want our needs to be satisfied at whatever the cost it could be. Clear, everyone? So keeping in that mind, these are the challenges that we have discussed. We have discussed about the finance. We have discussed about the raw material. We have discussed about the idle capacity as well as technology for today's part. Clear, everyone? Clear? Yes or no?
Yes.
Sitting here and online?
Yes, ma'am.
Any problems up till now? Okay, so I see and having no problem anyone. So we'll clear this for today. And there are other problems also, but we shall discuss in the next session, right? So we'll stop it out here to this part. And we'll continue with the next one in the other day. So thanks it for the day. Thank you and have a nice day, everyone. Bye-bye.